All right, guys, we are about to get started. You can have a seat. You can sit in the front so I don't feel lonely.
Je peux juste le mettre comme ça. Attends, si je le mets en plein écran, ça. Est-ce que ça me le met sur le côté? Vas-y.
Right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We are the AI user group. Who is here for the first time? Wow, a lot of newbies. I love it. You have to come back, so we have less newbies next time. So I'm Cyril. I'm going to be your guest tonight. I work at a company called Be My App. This company is behind the AI user group, and we specialize in doing events. So hope you're going to like it, because it's supposed to be our job. All right, so this is the planning for tonight. So we're going to start with Guillaume right here. He's going to talk about all-in-one Gen AI for marketing. Then Eugene going to talk about the future of SEO. Very interesting talk. Eugene is here. And then Shankal going to talk about scaling niche B2B marketing with autonomous AI agents. Then at the end, so after the 3 presentations, we have what we call an open mic. So you can come here and present something for 1 minute. Usually people use that for, I don't know, if you are like hiring, if you are looking for a job, if you launch something new, if you are looking for a co-founder. We are a community, we help each other, so just come and present to the community. And then right after that, we open networking and we have our delicious pizzas. We are closing at 8:50, so just keep that in mind while you are eating your pizzas. And then call for speakers. So it's a community-driven event, so we are looking for speakers. If you are working on something interesting, can be a tool, but can also be just, I don't know, if you are working on implementing AI and you figured out something, or you even tried AI and it didn't work. This is also very interesting. We want to understand why. So any presentation can be a use case, can be a tool, can be also a tool you didn't create, a tool you use and you want to present it. Please feel free to send me an email. You can see my email here, cyril@aiusergroup.com. All right, let's start with Guillaume here. He is a co-founder and CEO of a tool called Maestrix.ai, and Guillaume gonna present this tool right now.
Thank you, Cyril. Everybody hear me okay? Cool. Hello, so another French-speaking person. Promise I'm the only one left. So I'm Guillaume, and typically it's a community-driven event, and I'm going to tell you my story about how I build what is, I believe, the first all-in-one generative AI tool for marketing. So very shortly, I've been a marketer for academics and practice for 20 years. I started at L'Oreal, Reckitt, and Red Bull, so rather old-fashioned CPG marketing. And I've been here in Silicon Valley for 17 years, where I've been a freelancer. I've built growth teams for Series A, unicorns. And for the past 10 years, I've operated a boutique growth marketing agency called the Growth Concierge. And I've developed a framework called the Growth Marketing Fit. And basically tonight, I'm going to tell you the story not about FOMO, fear of missing out, but FOBO, fear of being obsolete. And that's what has driven the entire tool that I've built. So I'm going to try to answer a couple of questions. Look, where are we today in terms of AI and marketing? So a couple of boring numbers, but at least giving us the stage of what we're talking about. And then we're going to hint at the framework that I've developed, but more importantly, I'm going to show you what you can do with the tool I built. Sounds right? Yes. Perfect, thank you. So where are we at? So as marketing practitioners, we've been the first sector, if you will, or practice that has embraced AI in its many fashions, more than consultants, more than tech, because the obvious use cases were revolving around copywriting and drafting blog posts and social posts. I think everybody has done it at least once here in that audience. So for once, marketing is at the forefront of the change. And as marketing professional, that's rarely the case to be at the first spot. So I was telling you about fear of being obsolete. So that's a real thing and we're 15 million marketers worldwide, close to 4 million in the US. And here it's more of a representation on how AI is disrupting each of the roles. And not surprisingly, content writers or anything that has copywriting at its heart has the highest chance of being disrupted. So social media managers, content writers, email marketers, all of those guys are first in line to get disrupted. Not going to be replaced because I have a different angle, but this is very serious. So 18 months ago, I was literally seeing in front of my eyes, as you might have too, like trying a couple of really basic marketing prompts, and I realized very, very quickly that we were in jeopardy. Like not only me as a marketer, but agencies, SEO, a lot of things quickly came up and say, okay, there needs to do something. And for this little story, I investigated that the weekend when the Silicon Valley Bank debacle happened, so around end of February. So basically I had $50,000 out. I couldn't pay my rent if I didn't get the money. So I had like 5 beers on the Sunday afternoon. I was like, what else can kill me? Well, maybe AI. And that's kind of the very Sunday starting point that I started to build my streaks. And so, we've been marketers, marketing roles, and now marketing tasks. So what's interesting, but not surprising, is that AI is used, 80% of AI in the context of marketing tasks are done in the early stages of marketing production. So production, take it as a large step, which is the ideation, like the first drafts, right? That's where AI is mostly applied. Then editing, rewriting, etc. That's kind of a long tail of use cases. But what's really interesting is that it's very much over-indexing towards getting closest to the end results. And I found out very odd as a 20-plus year marketing practitioner that marketing strategy was completely out of the picture. And by marketing strategy, we're talking about positioning, we're talking about a lot of things that I'm going to show you during the demo. So this is more like marketing, and in this context and AI, a lot of people have kind of did the same reduction that content is marketing, marketing is content. It used to be marketing is advertising, so now marketing is content. But AI goes way beyond content production. It impacts data tracking and analysis. Like I can make more sense of hidden patterns that analytics are giving me as raw numbers. Behavioral psychology, I can summon psychological biases or apply different psychological levers to tweak a direction of a messaging or the way I can prepare or envision the perception, prepare the perceived value in the shoes of the customer. Also web development and automation, that's obvious for coding. So really taking a step back, it's not only content and copywriting, it really is the entire stack of marketing. So now I'm gonna handhold you to my framework, which I dubbed the growth marketing framework. So I've deployed this against 300 plus companies. I've trained more than 1,000 students on this, so it works empirically. And it is very simple in its understanding. So you have 3 core components that is the brand platform, so a voice, a tone, a logo, a font, a palette, anything that makes a brand. You have the positioning, which is a subset, which is more intangible, like it's a strategic bet that you're taking with your product, trying to address a market, providing a solution to a common shared problem. And the third ingredient is what I call plumbing, which is data tracking and making sure that at every stage of the way, we are data informed. And we know that in marketing, if you're not talking attribution, the CEO or your VP has no ears for you. And so with these ingredients, to emulate those three ingredients, there are 3 steps. The first step is to achieve audience message fit. So the right message to the right audience, meaning a job to be done to a value proposition or to a benefit. That's, mix matching the different elements. When you have audience message fit, you can go to the next step, which is along the buyer's journey, what is the content that I need to produce so that I can match the intent of the user at the stage he or she is along the journey? So if they're very early, it's more content about problem awareness. If they're rather down the journey, it's going to be more about reassurance, conviction, and social proofs and whatnot to get them to the conversion, right? And the last pillar would be conversion channel fit. So along the journey, you want to have specific milestones that are specific to certain channels. Typically, I'll give you an example. When Mini is doing Facebook ads, they don't expect to sell cars directly from Facebook. Well, you could argue that Facebook Marketplace can allow that. That would be more peer-to-peer. But that's what I mean. It's like conversion channel fit. Don't expect to sell a car directly from a Facebook feed, right? So that would be, that's a longer journey. And so that framework basically is what I took and sliced and diced it into prompts. So the way I've done that is I've tried to break this into ingredients or building blocks, if you will. And again, this is very much well-identified marketing jargon here, and very, self-explanatory concept. So whether it's positioning, the journey, we just talked about that, an audience, a campaign, keywords or content, all of those ingredients, they make the minimum viable marketing stack from an execution perspective. So I've tried to turn that into AI, and now the question is, how did I do that? So now is story time. So from prompt to practical AI, a Phobo story. It's very short. So I started in March 2023 by compiling my prompts in a Notion database, as I'm sure you have somewhere, maybe it's a spreadsheet. And I want to give them a personality so I could sell them as NFTs and try to understand. So I was doing AI combined with Web3, so it was very interesting. But at least it was a way to give more than, that was more than just a couple of lines of text, that was a prompt. How do you give a prompt to one to another? Fast forward to last year, so OpenAI released the custom GPTs. So for the first time, I could expand from a single prompt to a workflow. So a combination of a more complex task that could be emulated by one assistant, so custom GPTs. And there was a big, excitement because that should have been the proof of concept for OpenAI to launch the GPT store and making the GPT store what the App Store has been for Apple, which never happened. And it never happened. So the GPT store did launch in January of this year, but it was such a letdown that I decided I would build the tool for myself, the tool that OpenAI never provided, or I wanted to have multiple collection of custom GPTs, and then Claude started to arrive with different models, and then Perplexity started to arrive. So there was just, okay, I don't want to be cornered into one LLM, right? I want to be able to play with everything as long as I have the right evaluation for a given task. So after 6 weeks of self-taught no-code development, I went with the first version, and fast forward today, there was more of a crappy, scrappy indie tool made by a marketer with no notion of coding to a prosumer tool that I'm going to demo right now. And with that said, please let me introduce you to Maestrix. So Maestrix, why Maestrix? Because it is a maestro in the matrix. You got that, all right? So it's live and it's working, so that's good news. So I want to achieve a couple of things. The first thing I wanted to do is I didn't want to ever copy and paste again a prompt in ChatGPT, like going into a library or Notepad, go there, copy paste the prompt, and create a product seed that would be the context for the rest of my task. And I quickly figured out that that context wouldn't persist. So it was always a go back and forth and trying to spinning whatever product description I could come up with. Two, I wanted a way to organize all my outputs per their type. So if I want to do an audience research and I want to expand it against different multiple products, I want to be able to retrieve this very easily without having to go on the history search bar of ChatGPT, or even asking myself, oh, did I do it on Claude or Gemini, or where did I do that again? Or just having an endless list of untitled spreadsheets and Google Docs, right? So the most important thing I wanted to do is create a context that would persist. So as you know, AI works with predicting the next best word. But when you describe your product or your service, the way you describe it, even one comma or one change of word can completely derail or give it another direction, a different flavor of the outputs. So let's start with a product that I really love, that if you're a marketer, you should know it. It's called SparkToro. SparkToro, it's an audience research tool created by Rand Fishkin, formerly at Moz. And so what it does right now, so I'm using a URL, and it's going to use Perplexity API to formulate a digital footprint and a description, an initial description, what I call the product seed, for SparkToro. And on top of that, so it has created that seed. We can go back into the products. So now I have my little product. So that's my new project. I'm good with that. And built in, you have the first task, which I call insights, which are all the snackable marketing insights that you can get and get started with without doing anything else but entering what I just did, like one URL, one domain. So now it's going to be, I mean, it's more bragging about how deep and precise it is, but let me zoom in. So on these insights, you have, target audiences, a bit of customer journey, a bit of obstacles and misconception, a bit of market insights. All of this is fact-checked by Perplexity, so it's it's 99% hallucination-free. Let's keep that 1% alive. So again, many of those core marketing concepts that with one product seed you can get access to very easily and run with them to get started with your next marketing task, right? So but that's just the starter, right? Just to give you it's an appetizer, it's an amuse-bouche. But what if we take a look a little bit on the left-hand side, so this is really the growth marketing framework sliced and diced into all those tasks. So I'm going to run them quickly. I'm happy to delve further in those conversation. But the approach is, instead of doing chain prompting, or what I call ping pong prompting, which is I want to do a cold email outreach, and then there's a first output, and then I refine that output. Oftentimes after the third or fourth request, your context has derailed. But not with Maestrix, because the context is built as you go and is stored in such a way that it always is called at the right time. For instance, well, I'm not going to tell everything now, but for instance, in the audiences, it's a mixed bag of me creating synthetic voices from persona that are stating their problems, There are jobs to be done, the blockers, the unique value proposition or the unique benefit that our product is using to overcome that problem. So that's one way to look at your audience. Then there's another way of looking at the competition based on your audience type. Then you have your ICP recommendation. And of course, you have your typical persona flashcard in the end that is, ready to use. And there are 3 of them. So you're already geared with 3 avenues that you can decide to explore with iterations. Let's see how fast we can do all of them. No, I'm kidding. I'm just anyone, any task in particular? Curious to see? I'll take the first one. So that's the buyer's journey. Again, with a commonly accepted framework, the idea and the secret sauce lies into how do I feel and do I craft the prompt behind so I can get such a detailed view of the answer or depth of the output. So we have this messaging. I'm going to go on 2 other cool features, obviously. Because this is only one aspect of the tool, which is growth marketing fit at work. Again, so what I like also with turning this into a tool is I can see my view of marketing and how I feel and work marketing translated into this kind of scaffolded, ready-to-use templates. So it feels more about sharing my view of marketing, which can be completely challenged, but it comes with 20 years of experience. So I tend to think that it's good enough for the majority of people. So again, happy to delve into those other tasks, but 3 other ones. So you would obviously expect some image generation. So let's do a San Francisco skyline. And I did the same. I took my best prompts from Midjourney that I turned into a semi-guided, prompting tool for images. So this one, you can have way better results with Midjourney or the Kling or the new guys in town. But again, if it's all in one, well, I needed to have image generation, right? It's not too bad. Actually, I like it a lot. All right. And now the last 2 are pretty cool. So imagine that you're seeing an article on TechCrunch, and let me do that. And actually, I did that. So today, we see that Clearly raised 106 million. And let's say that we have read that article, that we find it perfect, say, I wish I could draft that article for myself or for my product. Well, guess what? I just copy paste. So it's going to be my clone or my mirror. And what it's going to do is going to entirely analyze the structure, the pace, the weight of the words, a lot of things that are related to copywriting. And then it's going to spit its mirror. So the spin-off, think of it. I was trying to find a name for it. Mirror copy was the best I found without going too much into the cloning and whatnot. So that's a very cool thing to do. And, well, we talked about of marketing, but you could say, but Guillaume, you missed a lot of those marketing tasks that we're using every day. Say, you know what, be my guest, because I allow you to create your own instructions, but not only creating them, because obviously I've developed a prompt engineering framework that is robust enough to develop very strong zero-shot prompts. So I say, why not apply that layer against very basic instructions? So here, I'm going to say, draft a cold email outreach with 3 sales framework. So here, I don't care about the product. I just care about the instruction that I'm trying to get at, or the output I'm trying to get at. And so now I have this AI. My prompt is actually boosting your instruction. I'm not exposing yet the stuff, but I have a crafting cold email instruction, and I can apply it. So you know what? I want to do it for the AI video tool I was demoing earlier today, because they asked me this. And typically this one runs on Claude. You know why? Because I found out that when you create artifacts with the API on Claude, you tend to get better results. And so here, see, so the instruction did not exist. It was very, very minimal, less than 10 words. And yes, we have 3 frameworks. We have the IDA framework, the PAS, so problem agitate solution, yeah, agitation solution, feature advantage benefit, yeah, and that's it. And you can do this. You want a press release? Ask for a press release. So yeah, so maybe I'll conclude by saying that's probably the product I'm most proud of because I built it entirely myself. And that's what concludes my talk. Thank you for listening. All right.
All right. Thank you, Guillaume. Great presentation. Do we have questions for Guillaume? No one? Okay, I'm going to start. Guillaume, I'm curious about your journey building. So what you have to understand that Guillaume built actually the whole tool with a no-code tool, right?
With Bubble.
With Bubble. Can you explain your journey? How did you get started? I guess maybe other people here are interested in building their own app. Tell us more about this journey.
So at every stage, there was a kind of a defining moment where I said, this is what I should do. And I think the first takeaway is, instead of rushing to build fast, I did the opposite. I was taking it very, very slow. Taking into consideration that any new model or release per OpenAI or Gemini XR could completely disrupt this. Fortunately, they don't care about marketing. Nobody cares about marketing, or everybody thinks they know marketing. So that's why I think I'm filling a gap that is pretty interesting with all that ready-to-use scaffolding. So really, it starts with prompt engineering, understanding how you ask the machine to get what you want. And you start with 2 lines, and then you add, oh, I want to add some more refinement. So it was really at the beginning, back and forth. And then when I was happy enough, I was like, okay, here's the output. Write me the prompt with the entire context of what we did, and so that I can summon this and get this exact structured result every time. So I got my prompt. And I got a prompt engineering framework as a byproduct of it. So it was very challenging to, again, how do you give prompts? I knew it had value, but once you give a prompt, like a piece of text, it's gone. It's not yours anymore. So I spent a lot of time asking myself, okay, how can I, and also, very important, the perceived value of a prompt is 0 until you have run it the first time. Right, because I could give you, hey, Guillaume, here, I'm Guillaume, here's my positioning prompt. Okay, thank you, Guillaume, we have 1,000 like you. Yeah, but then you need to run it, and then you need to see that mine goes way deeper and is stronger than any other one. So, and I think the driver is really building the tool for myself. The tool, it seems very cliche, but again, saying, I need to find a way to stop copy-pasting this prompt from one way to another was really kind of a driving force. And I knew my prompts were good because I had the French arrogance of thinking that because I've done this a long time, I put my 10,000 hours in it with 20 years of experience. So I knew it was more about the user experience. How do I make it practical? And if I could make it in sort of a elegant shell, it's like I'd prefer it to be eye candy than working 100% of the time, if that makes sense. Because I wanted to have an environment where I feel, okay, I'm not really using AI. I know it's AI, but I don't want to ask myself, what is the model that I need to use for this task? How do I prompt effectively to get the output that I want? How do I manage those outputs? How can I transform those outputs? So I leave you with this. This is just the first stepping stone of getting things started. And when we'll enter the agentic world, then it's going to be the true magic one where you'll push a button, you'll press your brain juice to make it 100% what you want, and then you let the agent implement, whether it's in an ad platform, on a CRM, or emailing platform. That's the future I'm working on. Sorry for the long answer.
No worries. So you were a growth consultant yourself, and
Yes.
you built this framework. Now this framework is available for $50 a month,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
what is the future of growth consulting?
So first, it's reassuring agencies and consultants that they are not dead, that they have this tool, they're pretty much saved. No, but it's a very good question, because price elasticity, people don't know how to buy AI but a subscription to Claude or ChatGPT, right? So they have this reference of $20, $25 per month that is very, very hard to go beyond. But, I mean, I'm asking you, when you see the value, when you hire an agency for all the tasks that I showed you, what's the price tag of that? Well, I'll tell you what, it's more than 10K, and it's going to be more than 3 or 4 weeks to get everything done at their pace. So by building this tool, I'm just also kind of changing the paradigm on how agencies can work, which is the mode of an agency is less about the expertise, is like there is speed, and you have a proprietary AI tool that. So what's your view of prompting or using AI? And obviously, I've converted a framework that used to work without AI, and I boosted it with AI. So today, I can offer boot camps over 4 hours where we do an entire 90-day marketing plan ready to ship, ready to implement for a fraction of the cost. And I think that's kind of the shift that is operating, especially for marketing services. And I leave you with, today I'm still searching my persona, because this can be the best kept secret second brain for a CMO, but that can also be the AI marketing hire that a technical founder with zero knowledge in marketing could use to replace whatever junior marketing person or junior or any marketing person could provide on the table.
Nice, thank you. We have time for, we have 2 questions. Okay, let's take them. Would you mind standing?
Yes. Hi. Just a quick question. How sophisticated or well-established the brand needs to be to use this? Because it seems like the majority of the research is coming from Perplexity. If, say, a startup doesn't have a lot of web presence or hasn't been around for a while, does it still grab all this information?
That's a very good question. Thanks for asking. So the way I went to a URL product to show, you're right, having an established product has its impact because it's part of the training data of a model. So the cutoff date of knowledge from a model has an impact whether or not your brand pops up. So there is the footprint, and there's going to be an interesting talk about SEO and how it plays out. But I would say that's more reflexive. I could say a connected bed for cats. Just like this. It's the same framework, same approach. So now you're more in prospective mode. So that's the idea of, and you have a third way, which is going after a competitor. So you're not published, you published your website 3 months ago, you're not in the knowledge base. So what you do, you copy paste what's in on your homepage. That's a reflexive way of looking at it. Say, okay, how does AI understand my product the way it's being presented right now? And you just do what I did. You just input the text. Then you can go prospective, like I just did, like give the most, incredible description of the product, which is a product that does job to be done for a persona, thanks to feature, and that makes it unique because unique differentiator. So you can have this kind of formulation as well, and going competitive, like, okay, it's SparkToro, what does another, like a Sixth Sense, for instance, is providing, or not any brand sentiment platform. So there are many ways you can angle, but the beauty is you can execute against the three and make it the best for you. You can pick and choose. That's how I built it. I wanted to have diverse avenues of pick and choosing, and I didn't want it to be a Google Doc powered by AI, because this is not a workspace per se where you're going to explore it, etc., or do it. No, that's your starting point. Thanks.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
I think pretty scary in terms of the amount of content that's
Talk
there,
to me.
right?
It's
Of course, I'm sure it's your baby. But so what stage are you at? Are you actually live? Are you taking live clients?
Oh
Are they
yeah, so
deploying
it's
it?
been live since February 16,
Okay,
and I've given, like, I was in French, under the jacket.
okay.
Because I wanted to go slow, and I wanted really to understand if people were comfortable using another tool than ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. Then I wanted to understand how they would react against a very dense, deep output, and they take a time to digest it. And so fast forward, it's 350 people are using it. There are 15 customers right now, and we've had 5 workshops that have annual licenses, so they come for the structure and they keep the tool for a year.
Okay, great. So out of the second question, but out of the deployments that you've got, what are marketing agencies saying in terms of their price point? Because if they're using this to create all these campaigns, what are they seeing from a customer perspective? Are they able to maintain pricing, or are they being creative with the pricing?
No, so what you're describing is maybe white labeling this for their clients, which is a new conversation I'm having, and there are different models being explored. No, I think how they're using it today, well, they're using it more for pre-sales. A lot of consultants and agencies are using it for pre-sales to say, hey, in 3 minutes, I can draw a picture of your company, your brand, very accurate, and here are the different couple of creative angles I'm suggesting we could go after. So it's very easy for them to get started with a project in pre-sales mode, but then after they can, and that's also the idea of having a full kind of a cockpit of products, which is, at the end of the day, I might have 10 clients, 15 clients, doesn't matter, because they are all organizing their own projects and product seeds. And I can regroup them. I know always where to go for this. But you still need a human in the loop. Like when you create Google Ads, for instance, for SparkToro, like, if I want to have Google Ads for this cat, actually that's a good example, because it projects people into what they want to do next, right? So Google Ads is a very popular task because a lot of people need to do it. Very few people very few people know how to think it, and even less people know how to implement it. But typically the last two ones are the same people. So here, for instance, you have 3 campaigns with the ad groups, the bid strategy, the keywords in it. You have the headlines that are 30 characters constraint, per Google Ads, and 90 characters for descriptions. So you have everything. So that's great. And you know what people tell me? Say, where's the button to create the campaign in Google Ads? I say, hey, wait for me. I'm working on it. But that's the future. I mean, you give them a magic wand, and they already want to get the entire book of spells, right? That's how I see it. But that's very funny. Say, that's validation for me more than anything else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's give Guillaume a round of applause. Thank you, Guillaume.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Okay, next it's gonna be Eugene. And
All right. Thanks a lot. All right. I'm ready to buy that smart bed for cats, actually. Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, thanks for having me here. Really great event, amazing series of events for developers, for marketers, designers. Yeah, so my name is Eugene, and I'm the founder of AISearch.com. Today I'll be presenting on the future of search engine optimization in the age of AI-driven search. So what's AI-driven search? So let me share how leading companies are defining this new way of searching. So Google says we are unlocking entirely new types of questions, thought search could answer. We are transforming how information is organized. And other players have their own takes. So ChatGPT search highlights their speed, saying, get fast, timely answers with links to relevant web sources. And Perplexity AI focuses on conversations and saying, it searches the internet to give you an accessible, conversational, and verifiable answer. So the key is that AI search is not just about finding information, it's about understanding what you are really asking for and giving you a complete answer that both makes sense and supported by references to sources. Yeah, I'll be sharing the presentation on LinkedIn if you need some data or links. So how big is AI-driven search right now? So let me share some numbers from my own analysis of data provided by SimilarWeb and based on the research from Zapier. So Google AI overview is leading the pack, and Zapier team tested 10,000 keywords with Google and found that AI-generated answers that as AI overviews shows in up to 41% of all searches. So, but here's what's interesting, it really varies by topic. So for relationship advice, AI overview shows in up to 41% of searches. But for some topics like real estate, health-related queries, it's much more conservative and shows in less than 1% of search. And ChatGPT is making waves, so it's now can be considered the second most popular AI search tool with 4.4 of Google.com traffic compared to that. And also it grows an impressive 19 month-over-month, and in this October, ChatGPT actually surpassed Yahoo.com by visits for the first time. So also Brave Search, Perplexity AI, and others are growing excessively too. So based on these calculations, AI seems to be involved into almost a half of searches. And AI search is not just a trend, it's becoming a significant part of how people find information online, and it's growing pretty fast. So let's explore how AI search works. It started from the simple idea of summarizing search results using a large language model, but now it's more sophisticated. So the AI search approach follows a systematic workflow. Users begin with by entering their search query. This can be a question, a phrase, or specific search term. Then the large language model pre-processes the initial query by rewriting it for optimal search performance, like basically writing a Google search query, potentially decomposing complex queries into multiple sub-queries, multiple search queries, and formatting questions into search queries to maximize accuracy. Then it makes the actual web search against one of the following indexes. It's either Bing, Google, or its own index, like in case of Perplexity AI. So then LLM analyzes sources and summarizes them into the final answer. It combines information from multiple sources, creates a coherent, comprehensive answer with references and links. And then the AI search engine optionally generates a set of follow-up questions which can help user to explore topic in great depth, dive into related areas of interest, or suggest other ways of asking about the original subject. So let's look at a real example. So that's a screenshot from Perplexity AI Pro. So when a user asks, how adult food differs from puppy food. The AI pre-processing step decomposes the initial question into 3 distinct web searches. Differences between adult food and puppy food, so it covers general differences and basic comparisons. Then puppy food versus adult food, nutritional differences. So LLM understands that the source question is about food, so the search is focused specifically on nutritional aspects. And then why puppy food is different from adult food. So you see, the proper pre-processing step actually generates a new question, and this question explores the reason behind the differences. All right, so then it runs web search to get search results from web index, right? And how do AI select sources to read from? So the Zapier team compares sources in traditional search results in Google against sources referenced by Google AI Overview and found that the overlap between them ranges from 33% to 73%. And in my own observation, Perplexity may also reference up to 70% of the same sources as Google search. And while ChatGPT claims to be relying on Bing web index, Bing search engine, the list of their sources often differs in the same way. So they're not like 100% the same. So overall, this suggests that AI does value many of the same authority sources as traditional search engines, but they each employ unique algorithms and criteria for ranking sources. So if we look at the overlap in sources between AI search engines, that's a screenshot from AI Search Watch, it becomes even more interesting. So while individual AI engines may share up to 70% of sources with traditional search engines, they may share fewer sources with each other. So that limited overlap between AI engines appears significant for search engine strategy in the future. So from my own observation, some AI searches tend to rely on just 1 of 3 highly authoritative sources for the whole response. So that's actually kind of like similar how humans may select sources. Like if you're searching for puppy food, you might just check a few websites of popular known brands instead of checking all the websites from search results. So this is just an opportunity in content strategy for brands to create highly authoritative and comprehensive content that AI is more likely to use. So LLM is LLM part, right? Is that smart assistant that basically reviews and summarizes and reviews sources. And AI responses from AI search engine may rely mostly or even solely on large language model for some sources. So you see the first screenshot, ChatGPT. So ChatGPT was asked without web search enabled, and the second search that was the search was how adult food differs from puppy food. So the answer is mostly the same, but it just injected few data from 2 websites of known brands for puppy food. And then the third screenshot is from Perplexity AI, so it's answering without referencing any sources, right? So it can mostly rely on LLM for some answers and probably will be shifting to that. All right, so where does these large language models get their knowledge? So let's check data sets that was used by OpenAI ChatGPT-3, which was published in the paper, which was groundbreaking in the market at the beginning of the LLM revolution. So the trained data for GPT-3 came from several major sources. So the first one is Common Crawl. That's the largest source, comprising 60% for training data for GPT-3. And it's actually a massive monthly updated snapshot of the whole internet. It contains over 400 billion tokens of data, which is equal to about 6 million books. Then it WebText2 dataset, which made 22% of the trained data for GPT-3. And WebText2 dataset is based on crawling the links that were upvoted on Reddit during 15 years. And additional sources, yeah, books and Wikipedia. All right, so few words about that largest dataset, which is called Common Crawl. So it's a California-based nonprofit organization that collects and indexes data from across the internet, providing monthly dataset updates. So if you're a website owner or a developer, you can search inside this dataset by going into index.commoncrawl.org. So on that page, you can search for your website. You can enter that, enter URL pattern, and you can get the links to specific snapshot that you can download and add that to data.commoncrawl.org and download that file, and then just basically check what is inside and compare that probably to robots.txt that was also captured from your website at this point. All right, so speaking about GPT-3 and later versions, books were explicitly excluded later according to OpenAI statements. And in last years, OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, expanded their training sources by establishing partnerships with a lot of major publishers like News Corp, Alex Springer, Time, The Atlantic, and so on, and popular online platforms like Reddit, Stagger, others. So this strategic combination serves two purposes for training LLM models, as I understand that. So it maintains the broad coverage from public websites while also tries to incorporate high quality verified information from trusted partners. So search results, large language models, and then finally your website is one of the sources for answers from AI search engine. So content from websites, both search engine crawlers and AI training datasets and crawlers that are run by search engines like Perplexity. So to optimize content for AI search engines, let's explore the key strategies that were recently recommended by Fabrice Channel, Principal Product Manager at Bing. And as you remember, Bing is used by ChatGPT. So first is to use intent-based content to focus on the intent behind the search query and focus on understanding and addressing the underlying purpose of search queries. So for example, when someone searches for eco-friendly coffee makers, you need to create content that guides them through the selection process. And like saying like how to choose eco-friendly coffee makers, right? And then address the why behind the search, not just the what, and make how to choose eco-friendly coffee makers guide for, yeah. So, and then to use long tail keywords to capture that intention more accurately. But probably you need to capture all the like, so you can like write best eco-friendly smart coffee machines for busy professionals and for others, like for every small audience or, then you can use conversational keywords to mimic natural speech patterns in question. This is also important for voice search, which accounts for about 20% of all searches. And then you can use semantic keywords to help AI to understand related terms and phrases like sustainable brewing, green coffee machines in this example. And also question keywords which are framed as questions. So like how to find the best eco-friendly coffee machine. That can also help to AI to align your content with specific question that was asked by user. So also you can add frequently asked questions, or people also ask sections in the web page, which works great for AI. So, and let's look at technical search engine optimization, technical side of that. So the first thing is, yeah, to review Robots.txt, which basically sets, sorry, that sets the rules for crawlers, where to go, where not to go. So here's a screenshot from wallstreetjournal.com that disallows access for AI crawlers like Common Crawl, Dataset, Anthropic, and all the others. But it's crucial to understand that these rules are essentially voluntary. So several AI companies and their bots have been observed to disregard this file. So while Robots.txt file remains the important technical standard, it shouldn't be your only line of defense if you need to hide information from AI. So next thing is to improve accessibility for web crawlers. So there are two key technical aspects to consider. So first is server-side rendering is vital for indexing because dynamic JavaScript content significantly slows down indexing and requires resources up to 9 times. So instead of being indexed in like 2 days, you can get indexed in like 2 weeks. And if these AI companies are running their own crawlers, they are less sophisticated. So it takes 9 times more time to index that by Google. But if we're talking about some crawler from some AI engine, so that's can take them forever to index your page. So structured data inside the pages, which is also known as semantic JSON. So JSON LD, linked data, also known as structured data, or probably you know that that was like rich snippets or something like that. All right, so let's dig into this JSON LD. It's also called a semantic JSON. So as I see that from my experience, so almost all top performance search, all top performing links, that are first referenced by AI, they almost always have that semantic structured data inside. So here's the screenshot for the query, how to drink water, right? So if you don't know how to drink water, you can search for that. All right, so and major commercial content management systems like Webflow, WordPress, they provide support for JSON LD out of the box or via some plugins. So on this screenshot, you can see that page, and you see that, so this website was referenced, was used as a first reference by AI, but it was also referenced as a featured snippet, right? So it helps in both ways. And the most common semantic JSON structures are web page for general web page, article for blog post, how-to for how-to guide, QA page for question-answer page, frequently asked question page, event, review, product, and there are many others. So here's a screenshot of the code of this page. So you can see there are a few, not just one, but a set of structured data inside. So first, it clearly defines the page type. So it says that this is how-to page type. It includes step-by-step instruction in a structured format. So crawlers basically don't need to parse the whole page. They can just look at that structured data and load that. And so it also can help them to understand what this page is about faster. So the key advantage is basically, yes, that search engine crawlers can efficiently parse and understand the page content in a structured way, not need to execute JavaScript or like render that. So this leads to better index and potentially improved and faster search visibility, right? So as for the tools, so you can actually explore the types of the structures at schema.org. You can create the structures with your CMS, or you can basically use ChatGPT. Here's a screenshot from GPT store, so you can actually type JSON LD, and you'll find a lot of GPTs that are helping you with that. And then you can validate how it's implemented, or you can test some website. You can either just go into source code and search for schema.org, or you can use Google Rich Results Test or a schema markup validator to validate and see all the structures that were used. All right, so, and finally, the future of search engine optimization, right? So what's expecting us in the future, in my opinion, in my humble opinion? So the search engine landscape is shifting in two parallel directions. So traditional search engines, like Google, Bing, will continue to provide search and ranking data for their own AIs and for the third-party AI search engines. And at the same time, some AI search companies like Perplexity AI will be building their own indexes. But others probably may not want to do that because of the required infrastructure to run and all the spending is required. So they will be probably just relying on Google and Bing. So this creates a kind of like hybrid ecosystem rather than complete replacement of existing systems. So, and then technical accessibility requirements. So success in AI search demands three core technical elements. So first, optimized page speed performance, that's a must. Today anyway, without AI search. Then integrated structured data implementation for websites and your online content, maybe like for your documentation subdomain and everywhere basically. And then server-side rendering of the content for faster indexing by bots, especially if you are running like some dynamic JavaScript app, that's crucial. And I see that many of them just injecting that structured data into JavaScript, so it can be easily parsed and seen by web crawlers. And then finally, Gartner and many others, they predict zero-click impact. So basically, that prediction is that there will be a significant shift in traffic patterns because AI provides answers and search results right away. Users don't need to go to some websites. So users and younger generations are also shifting their preference towards AI instead of using just Google or like all the way. So overall rise of hybrid search experience that will be combining traditional search and AI-powered chat. But that will mean less organic traffic for websites and more spending on running ads. So, and as for the content, so content will be growing. The focus on question-answer formats and conversational things and comprehensive guides, like how to drink water, right, step by step, all right. And the content creation side for marketers is actually already shifting to AI human hybrid approach where AI manages research and data analysis and content optimization, but humans drive strategy direction, creativity, and adding emotions into content. So the key here is not to abandon your existing strategies, but to enhance them for AI first world and be prepared for that. So thank you for your time and attention. I invite you to explore AI Search Watch and its demo reports, which are available. I can actually run a demo if I have time. Do I have
Yeah, you have time.
All right. So yeah, and we'll be happy to connect on LinkedIn. I'll be sharing the presentation if anyone wants to see that. So all right. So let me show the demo. All right. So AI Search was basically asking all the different AI search engines the specific question that you defined, like list all alternatives to Y Combinator, right? And it checks what are the trends between different data points, provides you the summary, so you can read the summary, like positive mentions and things like that. Then you can see which organizations were mentioned, right? And which organizations have more influence to this type of answers to that specific question, right? You can filter them by specific AI search engine, right? And you can actually export them to CSV for use in your content strategy or somewhere. And you can explore which were organizations mentioned in visual way, which products were mentioned, right? Which keywords were used, right? In answer, so you can target these keywords specifically, which places were used. And yeah, and you can, what's probably the most valuable thing is that you can see which sources were used for answering, which sources were referenced by AI, and you can see which sources are more influential than others, right? All right, here's another report. So basically you can ask any question. So you can, yeah. So here's like, who are the top LinkedIn influencers in the world? All right, so here's the persons, and you can see, actually you can see trends, right? So this person is pretty stable, this person is rising in mentions, and you can see them, how they are, in which order they are mentioned, right? It also matters, like who's mentioned first. All right, so here, how it works, and also the next version will be having some tools for influencing these sources for generating content based on keywords, and yeah, basically to implement that strategy to improve your brand appearance inside AI search engine. All right, here it is.
Nice. Thanks, Eugene. Okay, do we have questions for Eugene?
Hi, everyone. Evgeny, thanks for your presentation. Regarding and concerning all the capabilities of your child, because I'm from the business mostly, I would like to know what's the main, what's the real, how you're gonna make the life of the certain business is easier and beneficial in the language of the business. Thank you for your answer in advance.
Yeah, so, yeah, thank you for your questions. Actually, great question, like how do you make money on this, right? So, yeah, basically, the basic value is, I can start with the basic value is that instead of going manually for and asking each AI search engine and then like trying to analyze them, like gather links, and you can just use that, right? So that's a basic value. And another value is that you can use that for like to ponder about your strategy, like how do you want to your market strategy to go in the future, right? So basically like on strategic level. And I said, actually, the new version will feature some specific tools, like you have some source which is like very influential, right? Like yeah, like source graph, right? So you have that page, and there will be tools like to mirror that page, like so you can drive traffic to your website, right, or your one of your websites. So there will be tools in next versions that will be like helping you to implement that strategy, not just to ponder that, to think about that.
Perfectly
So
responded.
that's the plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for one more question. No? Yes.
I have a question. Would it be available through API? Because it could be like, let's say, Ahrefs and SEMrush, which are currently like showing the information about the
Yeah.
keywords, but let's say for traditional search, and like this could be like the same thing, and it could be like used by, let's say, content generation tools, or is it going to be like more about the like SparkToro that Guillaume mentioned, and you're just going to like understand how, let's say, are you a brand manager? You want to understand like how people are Googling Royal Canin or whatever.
Yeah. So right now there is no API. Thanks for your question. Yeah, API. So actually, at the previous startup, I worked on API, right? So I know how it's hard to sell to developers. So it's its own thing. Yeah. So definitely there will be API. So currently we're aggregating data, right? So there will be data aggregated for popular brands, and then yeah, definitely there will be API to leverage that data to do your custom queries about that. Basically the way like all these tools like SEMrush or others, they're doing like building their database, right? All right, thanks for your question.
All right, let's give a round of applause. So Eugene,
you.
Eugene will be available during Q&A, during networking if you have more questions. And now it's gonna be Shankar with the last presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Chankol. I'm the co-founder at TeleAI. Sorry, the presentation is not that fancy, but I'll show you the demo afterwards as well. So the title of my presentation is Expert Niche Content Marketing with Autonomous AI Agent. And basically what's the opportunity in there? As Eugene said, there is a problem that most of the answers would be generated with the AI. But also there is like an opportunity for a lot of the businesses that working in very niche spaces, like they're producing commercial HEPA filters for universities, or they providing land management services for oil companies, or they're providing medical trial for medical device services like somewhere. And I'm referencing the clients that we're currently having. And these companies that could never create content because it's first very expensive. It requires such a high amount of expertise to produce this kind of content that it's basically not, it was previously not rational to hire a person for this or even grow a person inside of your company for this. And typically it's usually being done by the founder, but finally when they produce content, it's never basically producing the expected results because they can do it repetitively just to make it, let's say, a growth thing. And because if you want to do the content marketing, it's repetitive and it's time consuming. So like, that's what my presentation is about. And that's where I'm thinking the autonomous AI agents are the future, where basically marketers don't exist and where real marketers can take the role of, let's say, gardeners. So you would come in for a client, you know basically the idea what is the content marketing, basically you know the parts, but you are not an expert in like medical device trials or like whatever very specific or like cybersecurity things. And but you can still provide this service as the manager of the autonomous AI agent who is basically doing the marketing job, bringing the traffic, converting. That's the whole idea. So basically, I'll just start with a little part about the business blogging and how it works for the companies. And I don't know whether like all people there are marketers, or maybe there are like some founders. Basically, the main problem why people, when people are starting with the blogging, they start, let's say, wrong. They basically want to write about the things that they find interesting, that are relevant to them, and they just think that people are gonna read it. But the main problem is most of us are not good writers, and we're not gonna get any audience. And basically, the goal of your business is not making you a famous writer, right? And the main thing with the business blogging that sometimes when you just start doing the blog, you start generating the traffic, you start seeing the readership, and sometimes it can mislead you, and you can start producing the articles about, let's say, very irrelevant topic to your business that are not helping, let's say, your business to sell things. And the primary goal of the business blogging is to acquire customers. And it's basically one of the three ways how you generally, any customer can find about you. It's rather you providing a good service, growing your reputation. The other just can buy advertising on search or on social, and then you can produce good content and distribute it rather for search or through social media, trying to make it work for the algorithm, rather you're doing it for TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. And the content marketing is very efficient, and for many companies who are, let's say, bootstrapping, or like for niche companies that are, let's say, want to may balance their budget, it basically is very efficient because it lowers your customer acquisition cost and basically brings you much more quality leads, because people are like searching for things, for specific things, some specific problems they want to address. They read about your product within the article and get it. So basically, it goes like people are starting with the search, they find the articles, they find the answer, they dig deeper into your website, and then they buy, demo, or like doing something. So the main thing and the idea is that instead of producing the viral content, like writing about, let's say, something that's gonna stick with the audience, you need to produce content for an SEO and the things that Eugene has explicitly shared. Like we have like the option basically to research this and do it. The main problem is, I'll just like move in here, that it's very hard, as I said in the very beginning, to create expert content. Because first it's repetitive and it's very time consuming, and it requires an expert to create content that sells. So for example, if you're like writing a niche content, if you, let's say, selling some cybersecurity product, if you know what, like you can explain the firewall, if you can explain all the, let's say, all the solutions that you are having, and like not referencing the real quotes, the real reports that are happening, like people are just not gonna buy it from you. And as I said, in the most of these niches, experts, they simply don't exist. I'll just like walk through the very fast thing that even if we take in everything that Eugene has referenced, considering the technical SEO, like doing the JSON LD schemas, like doing the keyword density optimization, all of that stuff, even to produce one SEO article, you need to do a lot of legwork. So you need to first like research the topics that are relevant to your target audience. Then you need to figure out for what keywords you need to write, whether you're going to do it for an AI search optimization or like for traditional search. Then you need to figure out which keywords you need to create content for, and then you need to create content that is SEO optimized, that is expert level, that is beautifully rendered, that has all the technical scene being performed. And like for most of the founders and for most of the companies, it's unbearable. Like basically, most of the companies are not doing it because it's heavy lifting. It's really very, very hard. So I'll just I'll just leave this thing and go in there. So what what our belief is and what we are doing, this thing is called vertical AI agents or like vertical autonomous AI agents. It's not like, it's the product that basically performs one task completely. So like, imagine that everything like that Eugene said, or like that Guillaume said, but for like one specific task, not like giving you idea what you need to do, like, or I don't know, like giving you a lot of the ideas what you need to do, but it just basically does the SEO, and you start seeing the organic traffic, even when you are, and especially in the niches where nobody can produce content. It's where like for marketers, it's, let's say, it could be the selling opportunity if you're an agency owner or if you're like consulting someone, and let's say some companies coming to you, especially in San Francisco, nobody knows, like people are doing extremely different things in there. For example, someone is coming to you as a marketer and you don't know, basically understand like what they're doing, like why they're doing it, etc. But you can market it with the autonomous AI agent anyway for them, because and sell them and basically just like supervise that this task is being performed correctly. You're seeing the organic traffic and you're seeing that our people, basically this traffic is converted to the leads or the customers for this company. So let me show you the demo in there. So I'll just show it on the AI for marketers. I think as we are at the event, it could be like a good thing. So that would be Chunko. So I'll just take the AI for marketers. So the idea is that it should be like extremely simple for like a marketer or the business founder to like set it up and see the first results. And the first result is basically the article that you are having, because for many companies who are adopting AI tools for content generation, they are seeing a lot of non-relevant content or like very general content produced by ChatGPT, because the problem with the ChatGPT is basically the context, like how you can basically collect the better the question, the better the answer. So if you're providing all the necessary context that is needed, you finally can get the information. So just, hopefully just all working. Oh no. Let me just check. Nope. Let me just do it again. Yeah, I'm just texting my co-founder. Yeah, sorry for this, guys. Okay, I have a plan B for these cases. I have dev environment. Anyway, should be working there. Yeah, it's all working there. Thanks, God. So basically, first thing is that when we take the information from the website, we are basically want to show to the company what's their current traffic, what's the domain rating, what are the keywords, and also show the description. Basically, it's pretty much what Guillaume showed about the initial context about the company. So yeah, just working, the dev is working like much slower. Hopefully it's at least working. Oh, it shows maybe it's the internet. It's strange. Maybe it'll just reconnect to my phone. Maybe the internet is really slow. I don't know. That's a bad demo. Sorry for this.
It's okay. Okay.
Yeah, sorry guys. Hopefully it's not working anywhere. I don't know, maybe I just
Fine.
like...
Maybe you can just explain
yeah,
what it's doing.
yeah, let me...
We are.
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, let's try the different browser or maybe in incognito. I don't know, maybe I just like
It's
showing
fine, man.
them or
We are
like
all
something.
founders here. We all know what you're feeling right
Yeah.
now.
Thanks, guys.
We all went there.
That would be... Just do the third one. You know, up. Up. Maybe I just...
I like
Oh,
the
I
idea
know
of
what's
AI
the
corners, though.
I know what's the problem because I've entered it as a AI for marketers and you are a AI user group. I guess that my mistake. Yeah. Let me just copy the wrong link.
Yeah.
Let me just go in there. Okay. Okay, let's check it out. Should be fine now. Hopefully. Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah.
Yes.
That was tense. Yeah, I just been using the
Our
wrong
domain
link.
rating sucks, though.
Yeah, sorry for this. So basically, let's say you are like setting up the Fourier user group. So it basically shows the current traffic of the company and the trend. It shows the domain rating. It shows the number of keywords for which company is indexed. And it just creates the first description, like basically showing and giving the AI agent the first context about what a company is doing, like for which company, for which company it's going to sell, who is the target audience, all of this stuff. Then we are selecting the industry basically for which it could be sold, because when you are creating the B2B content, it needs to be more niche and more narrow. So let's say we're selecting the marketing in there. And then we are selecting the buying persona. So generally, who is going to be the purchaser of the services of the AI user group. Let's say it could be the marketing professional, as we are all there. Then to perform the keyword research, the next thing that we are doing is we are researching the competitors, and we are trying to find companies that are, let's say, also providing the same services for an AI user group, because if you want to compete on search, you need to basically understand your competitive landscape to take the keywords, create the keyword profile, and find out the other companies from whom you can pull the keywords. So just, yeah, companies can also be aware of their competitors, and it could be like pulled in there. So just like take a look at the competitors in here. Just sometimes it's slow. Nope.
Probably because
Sorry,
we
maybe
don't
you know
have competitors.
maybe you know one of your competitors. I can just type it in.
We just don't have competitors.
Oh,
That's why.
maybe that's the problem. Yeah. Okay. So, but it's required.
You can type, I don't know who is doing events. Maybe Gen AI Collective.
Gen AI Collective. Let me just so I don't mess up with the link again. Gen AI. Nope. Gen AI Collective. This guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Put them in here. So we have them as the competitor. Worst demo of my life. For today, at least. I'll just. Okay. 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 So I will just. Let's say that this thing, it would be still working. There would be like basically one less step as we pull the keywords. And finally, it's gonna be the generation of the articles. And I'll just like show you the example of kind of the articles that we generate for companies. So we've recently been migrating to a new infrastructure. So it's just like been challenging, like with all working, just being 2 days and still all falling. So, basically, the main difference that you can see, it contains all the information like the titles, it's optimizing basically all the articles for specific keywords, the meta descriptions. It also generates photorealistic image. For this, we're using Falai, not the Midjourney, and they're like pretty great in terms of like generating photorealistic images. And then you are having the article. The main difference of these articles is that it's basically referencing like the information that is researched. So like it could be some reports, it could be some statistics, it generates the content-aware infographics like this, so just to increase the readership time. Additionally, it references the quotes that we're having and statistics that we'll find out. So the idea is when you're like basically reading this kind of an article, it creates the impression for a person who is reading it that it has not been AI generated because it contains a lot of the new and relevant and interesting information. And the second thing is that it also works good for the niche content marketing because most of the sources are basically archive papers or like something that has not been published a lot and like being reused on the internet because the topics are very, let's say, very niche. So additionally within the articles, you can see like different titles, the conclusion, and the call to actions basically that are leading to like some specific website, basically depending on the client. So yeah, this thing is still not working today. I don't know, like it's been like 2 days if things has been working, but I'm sure if like any of you would like to try it out by yourself, you can try it out tomorrow, or like if it's not working, just like write me out on Crisp. I think as I'm finished up with this presentation, we'll sort the things out. Yeah, I guess that would be it. And for you all guys, if for example you would want it to try, we are having the promo code AI for marketers. So basically, if you would want to try it out, we can do the promo code for you.
Nice. Let's try it out.
Yeah, I'll just set
Cool.
it for this.
Well,
Sorry
I
for
know
this.
that the tool broke when you try to find competitors.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, It's a good tool. All right. Do we have questions? Yes.
Thank you. So how do you evaluate the quality of the articles yourself, apart from the technical SEO part? Like you have keywords, number of keywords, those sort of things. That's easy. Do you do anything around, does it sound human? Does it, is it technically accurate? Those type of things.
So basically to create, well, I'll just can give you like a brief understanding of the workflow, how it works. So let's say we have collected all the keywords from the competitors, and then we basically do the automatic SEO clustering, and then we also run in the auto-approval workflow, clearing all the relevant keywords. So only leaving, let's say, the keywords that are relevant to your business and let's say to your industry. Then as we start generating, first we are taking the keyword, and then we go to Google. Right now, basically, we're using the Google API to see what is currently being shown. And we are parsing 20, 30 results that we are having on SERP for this specific keyword for a specific country. And from them, we extracting headings, basically doing the LLM processing, generally like to understand what basically all the articles say about, what type of the article is it, etc. So as we understand it, then we build out the structure of the article. And then we, based on this initial draft, we start, it pretty much works like the Perplexity Pro Search. So we are self-reflecting on questions and just like ask questions that are still not answered, but may be relevant to the industry and the target buyer persona that you've selected. And we find more information, we extract it. Then we are processing it, trying to extract relevant information like quotes, reports, statistics, case studies, like it's 13 types of different information. And then we calculate the coherence. So basically there is an algorithm that basically wants to understand content similarity between all the information that we found. So when you're like using this context, it's not like a section is one article, the other section is the other article. So it just like needs to be all coherent. And as we found this information, then we are writing. So like the fact checking basically happens at the research phase. So we just like making sure that we are extracting useful information, fact checking this information, and then already generating only with it. The second phase is that we scan the information from the company's website. So like trying to understand your services, your pricing model, your conduct. So it's also like number of, let's say, content types. So that we're trying to take from your website. And then we are rewriting every section again, trying to find out the, basically on the relevant section, we are trying to find relevant information on your website that we can put in just to basically make it about the relevant. And finally, when we do it, there's like a bunch of content extensions, whether you want infographics, whether you want lead generation forms, whether you want external links, no one in, and you just can basically turn off, turn on it. So depending on the your expectations. And finally, as the final article is written, there is SEO optimization. So like we're trying to make sure that there is a content density. We're trying to prevent the text spamminess. We are running through plagiarism checks just to make sure that the originality of articles is, let's say, 90%. And it is keep coming. It's basically like all the things that Eugene shared. It's really a lot of work if you want to do it right. And like nobody wants to do this work. And autonomous agents, they are not very good at, let's say, all the tasks because they hallucinate, they make errors, like, or at some point it just basically doesn't financially feasible, like to, let's say, do it universally. But for very specific vertical cases, when we can programmatically control the environment, all the content, and just like know and sure what kind of the result we can expect, it produces the articles that are of expert level. They contain the information about your product, and they are SEO optimized, they bring you traffic and convert users. So that's sorry for a long answer.
Yeah, great presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, and a great product. So my question is, does it work for that specific verticals, like, or maybe like, have you tried that? Like for financial advice, like real estate,
Yes.
healthcare?
Yes.
Because I know it costs a lot, even like to get a writer, like,
Yeah.
and review that.
mhm.
And the second question is there a way to plug an expert, like a human review, to do review like that
Sure.
this article?
So answering your first question about the niches, so basically we see more success right now because most of the companies that are using it it works autonomously. So basically approving the keywords, then you turn on the auto publisher and it produces like 3-4 articles to your website. And the main, it works for niche services, like the one that you mentioned, like for example, some financial advisors. There's also like, it's like hundreds of thousands of different specialties in financial advising in the United States. So yes, and most of the content is not written for them. For healthcare, the same thing. In the US, there's like a lot of experimental treatments, a lot of very niche and new treatments that need its audience, and they're like trying the new ways how they, let's say, addressing different health conditions. So that's also a yes. So, and the second question was about the human writer. What we notice is that as our primary buyer is the founder, they don't have time for the human review. So we build out the process like where they review high-level stuff like the keywords. We plan to add also the approval of the topic. So for example, we research something and we write the article title, and write, let's say, some initial snippet, and it will basically produce the article in a way that it is written in there, but you can, if you want, and if you have time, you can intervene and you can change it. But if you don't have time, the process is running by itself. And after we publish the articles, it's published in CMS. If you want to do the human review, you can do it. So
Which CMS it works with?
currently we support Webflow, Ghost, and WordPress, and Shopify.
Awesome.
All right, we are at time. Shankal, thank you. Thank you
Thank you,
very
guys.
much.
Yeah.
Let's give a very big round of applause for
Thanks,
Shankal.
guys. Thank you, guys.
Shankal, you know what? Next meetup, you come back and you do the demo. Okay? We want to see it. All right. Just have a few slides before. What's going on? All right, so this is like all the different social media we're on. We are everywhere, as you can see. Feel free to follow us. Feel free to like our post, very helpful. Our next event, so we have AI for Marketers on January 8th, and Shankal will be there with a demo. And then we have, if you're interested in design or software development, we have an event next week, AI for designers, and the following week, it's going to be AI for developers. All right, and now it's time for open mic. So if anyone has anything to say, anything to present, job opportunities, startups, announcements, wedding, who is getting married? Who? No one? Yes, come. Yeah, just come here. You want to project something?
Yeah, just my
Sure.
project.
Sure. Go ahead.
Well, actually, it's okay. I don't need to project. I can project a future time.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so what did you just say, 60 seconds?
Yeah, just
Okay.
present what you want to say.
Hey, everybody. This is my first time here. Thanks for hosting a great event.
Of course.
Yeah, and I just wanted to share a product I'm working on. It's called Find Power People. But basically, if you go to an event on Luma and you want to make the most out of your time there, you upload the guest list to my event or my product. And I Google everybody for you, and I can add custom tags for you. So if you're looking to meet with founders or you're looking to meet with somebody as a specific investor, basically it will rank and tag everybody for you. So you can meet like one relevant person at an event like this rather than meeting random people each time you come to these. Yeah, well, thank you.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
We are using Luma. Let's talk. All right, cool. Anyone else? Yeah, come.
Hey everyone, it's my first time too, and such a great event. I found out about the community recently. I'm Sakshi. I'm the CEO and founder of Hexus, Hexus. That's our company. If you are in B2B product marketing and you create product demos, guides, any kind of interactive content, please check out Hexus. We recently launched Hexus Hive, which is our platform to centralize, create that. Also find me here. I'd love to talk to just any B2B product marketing teams and learn about your workflows. That's it from me. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, come. Nice. Love the hat.
At least I will be noticeable in front of you guys from tech. Okay, 60 seconds. My name is Nick. I'm a founder and CEO of a startup called Salespulse, and we do a tool for CRM in order to help to manage sales department with their sales rep, regardless of the amount, how much they are in that. And that tool shows the real-time and sales activities in order to recognize and boost for certain cases your one or whole sales team in order to increase your revenue. Thanks for your attention. You know where to find me.
Oh, thank you. All right. One more? Yeah. Come in. Yeah, come. Yeah, you can come.
Hey, I'm Mario. I run a cybersecurity company, so if you want to sleep well at night, just let me know. We actually are hackers. We hack companies to make them safe. So we actually use the same tools of them. So let me know if you're, I don't know, maybe you also need to compliance. So let me know. Yeah.
Cool. Yes. All right. One more. Gonna be the last one. After you, it's pizza time. All right.
I just landed from the other side of the world, so I'm a bit jet-lagged, and it's not in the 60 seconds. So hey everybody, my name is Eyal. I work for Forward.ai without the A. And what we do is we help revenue operations or marketing teams to consolidate their data from multiple platforms, so marketing automation, CRM, product data, to build predictive AI models without the need for coders, data engineers, data scientists. And yeah, that's pretty much what we do.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Eyal. All right, and that's it. So we can start networking. The pizzas are hopefully hot and warm, so we can start now. Thank you.